Last week, we listened to how David went from being a shepherd to a musician in the courts of King Saul. We listened to when he went to take food to his brothers on the battlefield, when he heard the giant, Goliath, shouting at the Israelites, and that he went to speak to the king about it. King Saul's tent was also close to the battlefield, and we are going to hear what happened there. David told King Saul that he will fight the giant Goliath, but the king told David that he cannot fight the giant because he is only a young boy and Goliath is a big, strong soldier. David said he is not afraid of the giant because he believed that Yahweh's Spirit will be with him on the battlefield. No one else wanted to fight the giant, so King Saul agreed that David could fight the giant. King Saul gave his own uniform to David to wear and also his coat of armor and his bronze helmet for his head. David fastened his sword over the uniform and tried to walk with it because he has never worn a uniform or armor before. It felt very uncomfortable for him, and David said that he is not going to wear any uniform or armor to the battle because he is not used to wearing the heavy clothes of a soldier. He took the uniform off and took his staff in his hand and walked towards the stream nearby. He looked at the ground, searching for smooth pebbles near the stream. He picked up 5 pebbles and placed them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag that he carried with him. He took his slingshot in his hand and walked over to the Philistines. Goliath, the giant, and his shield-bearer, who walked in front of him, kept walking closer and closer toward David. When he was close enough, the giant saw that David was only a young boy. He saw that David was not afraid of him, and that he only had something that looked like a small stick in his hand. Goliath did not like that. He shouted at David, asking him, "Why does he only come with a stick in his hand to fight?" He wanted to know if David was thinking that he, that is a giant, will be scared of a stick and run away like a dog. Goliath called to his guard that he served and said very angry and bad words to David. He shouted at David that he will kill him and let the wild animals eat him up. Now David was brave and shouted back at Goliath that he is not afraid of his sword, his spear, or his javelin, because Yahweh is coming with him to the battle. David told the giant that he was coming to fight him in the name of Yahweh, the Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, the God that Goliath, the giant, did not obey. He told Goliath that today is the day that Yahweh will help him to beat him, and he will cut off his head, and everyone will know that Yahweh is the God of Israel. Everyone will know that Yahweh is the one who saved Israel. The giant Goliath walked even closer to David to attack him. David ran towards Goliath, and he reached into his bag, took out a pebble, quickly placed it in the slingshot, aimed for the giant's forehead, and slung the pebble towards him. The pebble sank into Goliath's forehead, and he fell onto his face on the ground with a loud noise. David ran over to the giant and stood over him. He took Goliath's sword out of his sheath and cut off his head with it. Goliath was now dead. The Philistines saw that their champion was now dead, and they became so afraid that they turned around and ran away. The Israelites saw this and all shouted together to scare the Philistines and ran after them, chasing them with their swords all the way back to their own city. King Saul saw the young man killing the giant and was impressed and asked his general to bring this young man to him. David was still holding the giant's head in his hand when he came before King Saul. The king asked him whose son he was, as he saw that it was still a young lad in front of him. And David replied that he was the son of Jesse of Bethlehem. King Saul was very pleased with David, and he gave him an important place in his army. The army troops and officers were very pleased with David. He was their champion now. After David killed the giant and the men returned home, the young women of the nearby towns came out to meet King Saul. They took their timbrels and their lyres and sang and danced with joy. They sang about King Saul, who had beaten thousands of Philistines, and about David, who had beaten even more Philistines than King Saul, much more than tens of thousands of them. So, the lesson today, we heard how Yahweh went with David to beat the giant Goliath with only his slingshot and 5 pebbles. David did not use a sword or spear. David had faith that Yahweh's Spirit will be with him and give the giant in his hand to beat him. So, now we have learned one of the secrets that only the prophet Samuel and Yahweh knew, that Yahweh would save the Israelites through the hand of David, the brave shepherd boy who had faith in Yahweh. Children, have a good day and a peaceful Shabbat, as the Shabbat will be coming around every week. Yom Tov v'Shabbat Shalom.